Welcome and thanks for joining us for another episode of Code Girls on Air, a podcast exploring all things technology, female leadership, careers, education, and topics within the nonprofit sector. On this episode, we interviewed Kary Meschke, who is the Associate Advisor at Wade Financial Advisory and is on the board here at Code Girls United. So join Kary and me to hear more of her story. Welcome, Kary. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
I'm glad. Do you think you could start by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your background and your career?
Absolutely. My name is Kary Meschke. I am a certified financial planner. I am also a certified divorce financial analyst and an associate advisor at Wade Financial Advisory. WFA is what we call it. WFA is a fee-only financial planning firm that's based in the Silicon Valley. We deliver comprehensive financial planning and tax planning services. And I'm currently the vice president of the board of directors for Code Girls United.
So did you always want to go into the financial advisory field, or is that something you kind of figured out after school?
Actually, no. I got a degree in exercise science and wellness management. I always planned to be a personal trainer. I moved to Southern California and became a fitness director. And then a catastrophic elbow injury actually prompted a change in careers for me.
Oh my, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. It was a blessing in disguise. So had a few elbow surgeries and couldn't do that anymore. So kind of shifted gears into finance now, which I'm grateful.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of a shift. What made you kind of want to go into finance?
There were a few steps between. I had a lot of random jobs. I was actually the lead oil train operator on a coal mine for a short time in between, and just happened to come back to Montana. I was born and raised in Montana, and was blessed with an opening at a position at Stock and Wealth Management. My mom works for their sister company, Stock and Insurance, so it just happened. And fortunately, it was a great fit. And ever since, I've been very, very grateful.
That's wonderful. So what were some of the challenges you kind of faced when you started out in this field?
Sure. Starting over in finance was really, it kind of meant learning everything from scratch again, beginning with the basics of, what is a stock, what is a bond, and then working my way through the laws, legislations, licenses, and designations that led to the knowledge that I have today that I needed to be able to help others. So it was sort of like learning a new language, but it was exciting.
Yeah. And how did you, push through those challenges? How did you overcome them?
I'm very fortunate to have a very strong support system in my family and my friends. And I'm also quite driven and stubborn. So whenever there's something I don't know and I don't know very much about what I want to, I kind of dive in it. And I took a lot of classes. I read a lot of books, and I met a lot of people that really wanted to help me on my way through. So mentorship is a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. So can you tell us more about those mentors and some of those resources you had when you were starting out?
Yeah, absolutely. I worked with several people that were in the industry for a long time at my first job in this field, and they helped me kind of get the building blocks I needed. And then I took a financial planning course through the Boston Institute of Finance online. One of my professors, his name was Brett Danko. I took a prep course and actually a live course with him in Boston. And he was just a wealth of knowledge and kind of approached it from a different angle. It was all joy and not stress. So it helped with, those big designation tests, those exams, they're board exams, and they're very stressful and 7 hours long. And so it helped me relax on my way through it. And then I actually met Dr. Nathan Harness. He's at Texas A&M. He's the head of the financial planning there. And he took time out of his day to sit down and talk to me for a long time, actually, and helped me kind of recognize my strengths and show me which way I should head in the future, because I wasn't sure if I should go for my PhD in financial planning or just keep working. And he kind of helped me point everything in the right direction. So a lot of those people, even if you don't get to spend a lot of time with them, just hearing what they have to say and having somebody tell you that, you are valuable and you're smart and you can do these things. It really helps sometimes, especially when you're in the middle of all that stress. So
Yeah.
grateful to both of them.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So could you tell us more about what a day in your life looks like now and what you kind of do on a daily basis?
Sure. Yeah. Each morning I get to wake to my wonderful husband, Reed. We have three dogs. Their names are Rye, Leonard, and Koopa Troopa. Uh, we we both work from home, so
Oh,
we
okay.
have a wonderful setting here. We're in Alkali Creek in Billings, so our backyard has a creek and some rims, and it's just serene and wonderful.
Mm.
So we get to spend time together before work, and then my office is actually in the basement, and I have a wonderful view outside. I work from home, and then after work, we either go golfing or hiking or something where we can enjoy the outdoors together and hopefully bring our dogs with us.
That's wonderful. So happy for you. So when you're working, are you working with clients? Can you tell us more about what you do for work?
Yeah, absolutely. So I work remotely, but our office is based in California, and we have several meetings together throughout the week. And then certain days we also have client meetings. So some days I won't have any client meetings. I'll just have office meetings. Other days I'll have both. So my workday kind of starts around 7 or 8 a.m. and then it usually ends before 6, but once in a while goes a little bit later because I'm on Pacific time.
Right.
And then once or twice a year, we actually get together in person. So
Oh,
last September, I got to meet everybody, and this October we'll get together again, just as a group of employees, so we get to know each other a little bit better since we're always just talking over Zoom. It's fun
yeah.
to be able to meet each other in person sometimes.
Yeah, that is nice. So would you say you're in the minority in women in the field, or is there quite a few women in your field now?
It's getting better, but I would say in the field of finance, it's certainly male dominated.
Mhm.
In my old work setting, I worked within a bank, and I think in most banks, it's generally male dominated.
Nice. Yeah, what were some of the challenges you faced kind of coming into a male-dominated field?
Once in a while, especially in the beginning, you might encounter people that either assume you're an assistant because you're a female or because you're young, or that you might not be as smart as they are because you had to start at the bottom and kind of work your way up, which
Mhm.
happens anytime when there's a career change. But
Yeah.
it's good to put in the work. Um, Fortunately, I'm very driven and stubborn, and I take things like that as a challenge to get better.
Yeah.
And most of the time, you'll find that if you're working hard and you have a positive attitude, people are going to want to watch you succeed.
Hmm.
There's always the possibility to work with someone or for someone that doesn't support you for one reason or another. But the ability to rise above negativity and drama, that's going to take you far in life. Sometimes that means moving on to another job, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I found a workplace that supports me the same way my family and friends do, and that's very powerful.
That is. Yeah, sure. So what would you say kind of surprised you most when you made that career shift?
Because it was something I had never thought about pursuing or doing in the future, I was really surprised at how little we learned about finance in school, in high school,
Hmm.
and even college. So that was surprising. Aside from that, it helped me remember how much fun it is to learn and also how much of an impact a great teacher or a great mentor can have on your confidence.
Hmm.
And to that end, how much of a negative impact a poor manager or, somebody that isn't a great mentor might have on your mental health. So
Yeah.
um, it was a good reminder of a lot of those things, and that we can learn things, we can start over, uh, even if it wasn't planned.
Hmm.
And sometimes those negatives in life they can turn into really big positives.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great to look on the positive side even when something drastic has happened. So, in your opinion, what do you think is the most important personality trait or strength someone would need to have to be successful in the financial industry?
I think most importantly, as a fiduciary, you need to care.
Mm.
You need to care about the clients. You need to care about their particular situations, about all of the aspects of the impacts of their decisions. And when you care and they know it, they can start to trust you. And when they trust you, they will listen to your advice and you can make a positive impact in their lives.
Hmm. That's wonderful. So you've been a Code Girls Unite member for the last few years. Do you think you could tell us more about your experience and what you'd like to see for the future in Code Girls?
Of course, yes. I was able to join the board, I believe, in 2021. I stepped into a treasurer role, so I was the treasurer for a couple of years, and this last year I've been able to kind of step back in the vice president role, which, um, different perspectives, but all wonderful. And watching the program grow and seeing the girls in the program, not only learn and create wonderful things, but just watching them grow up and gain the confidence that they need to go out into the future, even if they're not doing a tech job or they're not coding in the future. I think this program teaches a lot of business skills and uh, confidence building things that you'll need in the business world in the future, whether it's tech or finance or, really anything. It's just the building blocks that we're learning here and teaching here are wonderful. I would love to be able to help expand the program into more rural areas, more tribal programs. I think those are the most important things we can do because those are the areas that don't have these programs. When I was a child, I grew up in Miles City. We didn't have programs like this for girls, certainly for anyone. And there wasn't really a thought of getting more girls into tech. We didn't have internet yet. So uh, just knowing that a program like this exists for girls now, I think it would have made a huge impact in my life and certainly on the lives of a lot of my classmates. So I had to volunteer to do my part, no matter how small that might be in the grand scheme of things. It's a wonderful program to be a part of, and hopefully I can help expand it so more girls have the experience.
Yeah, you've already helped expand it so much. And, it's definitely impacted mine and Isabel's lives because when we started out, we knew, zip about programming. And um, to come here I'm from the Denver area. And so to come here, I was like, well, that's going to be a little trickier to get into that
Yeah.
field, the middle of Montana. Um, yeah, so how did you initially get involved with Code Girls? How did you find out about us?
So I was actually involved in Rotary, and another
Okay.
member of Rotary, her name was Beth
Hmm.
Schecker. She's one of the founding members of Code Girls. She asked me to go out to brunch, and I had no idea what we were going to be talking about. But we went out to brunch, and it was just all about Code Girls. And they had a need at the time for a treasurer, and I fit that role at the time, and I had free time to help. So the stars kind of aligned, and I'm very grateful to Beth and certainly to Marianne for embracing me and letting me be a part of it. But that's how it started. So it was an opening on the board, and I had to jump at the opportunity.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap up here?
Not that I can think of. I'm so glad you guys are doing this, and I really appreciate you asking me to be involved. I know I'm not. I don't code. My coding career began and ended with MySpace back in the day, which I don't even know if you guys know what that is, but
Hmm.
HTML code, and it was very chunky. And so, um, you know, not having those skills, but still being able to be a part of such a wonderful program I'm just very grateful. And I'm grateful to both of you for doing this and for interviewing other people. The more that we can get the word out in different ways, the better. So I really appreciate you asking me to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for coming on and for everything you do for Code Girls. And this was really great. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Next week on Code Girls on Air. And then the chef, she said, Begum, can you bring me a flower? I'm like, flower? Because the first thing it comes to my mind, flower from the garden.
Right.
So I brought her a real flower, and then she started laughing at me, and I was so serious at the work, like I was like, it's my job, I'm really dedicated.
You're gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then she's just laughing at me, and she said, you are cracking me up, girl. I'm like, what is the cracking up means?